Aries, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? What is good with you? It is time to go ahead and knock out your December 2025 main monthly reading. So, if you need a personal reading, you can find all the information on how to go about doing that in the description of this video. For those of you still catching this video in the month of November, because that's when this is being recorded, we have our Black Friday sale that runs all November long. And we also do a couple of special things on actual Black Friday. But yeah, so, or you could just go straight to my website if you want, tarotwithrich.com. But there's a link right down here in the description where you can go check that out. All right, let's just jump into this. I don't even know what I'm going to start this out with, to be honest with you. Let's see. I guess let's just go ahead and start it out with your love interest. Singles and the person that you're interested in. So just to let everybody know, sometimes there's a little bit of confusion as far as this goes. If this is somebody you have a past history with, that would be the past person, okay? Every now and then somebody will come to me and get a general personal reading for their love interest, and it'll be somebody they've dated before. That would be a past person. This is not somebody that you've dated before. This is somebody you're interested in dating now, okay? So let's see how it's looking in December. Let's get a overall general energetic overview of how it's looking in December. Aries and the person that they're interested in. How's it looking? Boom, boom. Uh-oh, the star card reversed. Some of you dealing with an Aquarius, possibly. Kind of feels like you're starting to lose hope. Don't really have high apple pie in the sky hopes like you used to. Looks like it's kind of starting to weigh on you. Two of Cups reversed. Things just aren't moving to the next level. Why is that? What's going on here? Why are things not moving to the next level? There's no forward movement. Trying to be patient and relaxed. But I think it's really starting to get to you. I don't know how long this situation has been stringing along, but it looks like it's starting to get to you, starting to bother you. Maybe you're just dealing with somebody that is incredibly inconsistent. Incredibly. Could be a Cancer for some of you. I had Cancer and Aquarius here. I think you want to just let this go. There's a part of you that wants to just let this go, but you can't. Having a real hard time letting go of this. The card of disappointment. So, but you're not abandoning this. You can't bring yourself to abandon this. I think you wish you could, you want to, but you're having a hard time with that. So, okay, all right, we're going in circles now. Okie dokie. Well, let's see how they feel about you, what their energy looks like, what their intentions are. How's this person feel about Aries, universe? What are their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions? Uh-oh, man. Overall energy is the codependency card. We got the star card in the upright this time, and the 9 of Wands. So, okay, this gets really hard to describe. When you have a codependent, basically a codependent doesn't really care who they're with. They're looking for the person that gets them high like a drug. That's one thing. And usually it's the quickest, fastest, easiest, and most convenient connection, you know, Like, if they have a choice between you and someone else, right? But you live all the way on the other end of town. You got a busy work schedule. You know, you have goals. You know, you're bringing you into their life would add value to their life, right? But it's not convenient. You live on the other end of town. You work a lot. You got goals. You got responsibilities and priorities. But there's somebody around the corner who's a loser, unemployed, no goals, and kind of, for some reason, I don't know what it is about codependent people always wanting to chase after the person that treats them like shit. You ever notice that? Isn't that so weird? That's never made sense to me. But usually they'll pick the person that treats them like shit and the person that's quickest, fastest, and easiest. So I'm thinking, honestly, this person might have a few, I don't know if I want to say options, but a few people in mind, you know. And obviously, if they haven't made a decision yet, that means that there's one person that they really want that they just can't quite get their hands on yet. Usually what that means. Plus, they're really guarded anyways. You know, very, very guarded. Don't really want to let anyone get too terribly close. Yeah, they don't know who exactly they want to be with. I think they have a couple of, they got at least one other person in mind, at least. So they want to be in a relationship. When it all comes down to it, they really don't care with whom, but they do, I think, have their eyes on one other person. And now I'm not allowed to spy on the close personal details of somebody else's personal private life, but more often than not, it's usually somebody they've already dealt with before, somebody they have a past history with, that's already proven to them that they are a sack of shit that's not worth a damn. Most of the time. Not always. About 75% of the time. When you have a codependent who doesn't know who they want to be with, and they got somebody else in mind, that person, 75% of the time, is somebody they've already been with and has already proven to them that they're a piece of shit. But they still want to be with them. Right? They still want to chase after the person that treats them like shit. But anyway, yeah. This person does feel an abnormally strong connection with you. They do. I just think their priorities are fucked up. They know that being with you would require them to step up their game, right? And that's intimidating to some people. So that intimidates some people, dude. It really does. So let's get the advice. What's the advice for Aries? The Ten of Wands again. Well, my question to you, and this is just kind of general, just something to get you thinking. How long have you been dealing with this person? You shouldn't have to deal with this for much longer than a month. Shouldn't have to. Shouldn't have to. So all I'm going to say is that if you've been dealing with this situation for like 2, 3, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, this person's already shown you what they want. They've shown you. And what you allow is what will persist. So this energy is not going to sustain itself forever. Okay? Nothing plateaus. This is going to continue to get heavier and heavier and heavier. The universe is going to add a stick to the bundle every day. And if something isn't done, it's eventually going to collapse. So before this pops off into some fucking drama that you don't want to be a part of, or maybe you do, I don't know. Maybe we need to have a little talk. Now, for those of you who have just started dealing with this person over the past couple of weeks, Okay, you got a little bit more room for leverage in here. But still, I would dedicate the next couple of weeks, of December, I wouldn't let this go into New Year's still on this energetic pathway, right? If you have no more clarity by New Year's Eve, if you have no more clarity on where this situation is going, I'm telling you, if you drag this energy into 2026, that's going to be a rough fucking start to the year. And that could potentially sabotage your whole path going into 2026. It has the potential to do that. So just be thinking about that. Be thinking about that. Do you really want to drag this energy into 2026 and let that be the start to the new year? If you do, you do. I mean, it is what it is, but it doesn't have to be that way. So, okay. All right, let's, what do I want to read next? I guess let's take a look at the current long-term relationship. If you're not in a long-term relationship, this is not for you. If you are in a long-term relationship and the two of you are not experiencing any problems, this is not for you. Let's see, how's it looking? Aries and the current long-term partner. How's it looking? Aries and the current person. Knight of Pentacles. Some of you dealing with an earth sign. Ooh. Seven of Wands. A lot of walking on eggshells energy here. Damn, dog. That's the throwing in the white towel card right there. The death card is reversed though, so are you kind of teeter-tottering between throwing in the white towel and just hanging on by a thread? Teeter-tottering. For some of you, financial issues are causing a lot of stress in the relationship. But one thing that is yelling at me here is I only have one cup card on the table. And that's the Two of Cups reversed. So I'm not really seeing a whole lot of love being exchanged between the two of you. Honestly, it looks pretty fucking dry. Or if there is any love here, it's probably unrequited, more on one side than the other. Damn, dog. We already got the Tower jumping out on us here. I don't think you have to worry about that in the month of December, but I mean, the energy is getting really thin, really, really thin. Very, very thin. A lot of trust issues here too. Damn, dog. Okay. Some of you dealing with a Pisces also have Scorpio. Ace of Cups reversed, unrequited love. I already called it. Let's see how they feel about you. How they feel about you, boo-boo. How this person feel about Aries, universe. Ooh, they don't trust you? I think they may suspect a third party. I don't know why. I don't know if you gave them reason to suspect that or if they're just projecting their own insecurities and bullshit onto you. I don't know. But they're afraid to start new and start fresh. Yeah. This is weighing on them too. Weighing on them very heavily. They can't tell. I don't know. They can't tell how you feel about them. There's some days they swear you're just not even in love with them anymore. And there's other days that they start feeling a little bit of hope as far as that goes. But, and like I said, a little bit of trust issues here. I don't know why. Don't know why. They kind of suspect, they wonder if there's a third party involved. So I don't think they really want this to come to an end, mainly because they're afraid of starting new and starting fresh. Mainly. And yeah, not saying the main thing I'm looking for is there a bunch of love coming from this person. I'm not really seeing a shitload of love coming from them. I'm mainly seeing that you're their comfort zone. This is their comfort zone, right? So they do miss what y'all had back in the day, though. They do look back on the past with very fond nostalgia. But as far as now, it's more of a burden than anything. They don't want it to come to an end. They don't. But sometimes they wonder if that's what's best. All right. I don't think an ending is happening, though. So let's grab some advice. How's the advice look? What kind of advice wants to come through for Aries? Y'all got to be a team, dude. Got to be a team. No way around it. And I know how simple that sounds, but it's just funny how hard that is to get two grown adults to cooperate as a team. It's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard. And we have to both be working on ourselves. Period. There's no way around that. I'm not playing chicken or the egg. I don't care who started it. We both got to be working on ourselves. Not just one person, not just the other person. Not just the person who did wrong, not just the person who's the primary catalyst for the majority of the problems, not just the person that has the most issues. Both people have to constantly be going inside and growing and evolving as individuals. Both people have to. And if one person is not, believe it or not, there are a lot of people on this planet that don't believe they have anything they have to work on. Doesn't matter who did what. If one person doesn't believe that they need to grow, evolve, or change, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So now, I also got a little side piece of advice. For those of you who do end up walking away from this, the last thing on your mind should be a new relationship. Don't even be thinking about a new relationship until you take the time and put forth the effort to shift into a new vibration. That's the number one priority because vibration is the primary law. If you jump from one relationship to the next, that's just like skipping songs on satellite radio. If you're tuned into the country station and you're sick of the experience of country music, you just skip the song from one to the next, you're just going to have another country song. It's going to repeat the same experience. All right? That's not Rich Lopp's little theory. That is an immutable universal law. The number one priority is shifting into a new frequency. Releasing the old energy and shifting into a new frequency, not a new person. So, yeah. But there is still room to save this. This does not need to come to an end. There's actually, honestly, you know me, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you straight up. I don't care how fucking mad you get at me. I don't care about your stupid little shitty comments that you write. I don't care about that. That didn't bother me at all. I'm going to tell you what comes through, whether you like it or not. There's a lot of room for potential to save this connection here. This doesn't need to come to an end. It doesn't need to. If we can get both of you on the same page at the same time, working towards the same goal, you can seriously take this much further than it's gone so far. Much further. So usually, again, the thing is, though, there's no one piece of advice that you can just give one person that'll save the relationship. Doesn't really work that way. But I can give you advice that can give you influence over the situation. And you know what the best thing to do is? Just be the bigger person and fucking go first. Best thing to do. Best thing to do. If I'm gonna sit here and tell you about all the things you need to work on, well, if I'm not acknowledging the things that I need to work on, I'm a bold-faced fucking hypocrite. So I'm gonna tell you the shit you need to work on. Don't get it twisted. But after I tell you that, I'll be the adult and I'll go first. And you're gonna sit back and watch me grow, evolve, and change into a different version of me. And then eventually it's gonna come to a point where if you don't follow suit, we're gonna separate by way of universal law, just because that's the way frequency equalization works. Whatever is no longer a vibrational match to you will be pulled away from you. There's no way around that. There's no exception to that. There's no way to manipulate that. If you throw a watermelon off your roof, it's going to splat. You're not going to manipulate that. You're not going to work around that. That's what's going to happen. So, all right. Let's see, I guess, how things are looking for the singles. Who's the next person due to come in? Well, now let me pull that back. Let's just see how it's just generally. How's it looking for the singles? What's coming in for the singles? Anything new coming in? Anything old coming in? Anything good coming in? Anything bad coming in? How's it looking for the singles? Ooh, some of y'all might be clearing the air with somebody from the past. I'm not saying that's going to be a reconciliation, but it definitely looks like a clearing of the air with someone from the past. Hang on, though. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm seeing some of you, I don't know, I got a few storylines here. I'm thinking more than a handful of you are going to be contemplating reconnecting with a past person. I'm thinking so. That's coming through really heavy here. Really heavy. Others of you, I'm seeing possibly somebody at a distance. But when it all comes down to it, two of swords, a lot of uncertainty with the next person that you connect with. I'm not going to lie, there's more past energy in here than anything else. This isn't a past person spread, so I'm trying to kind of work around that, but it's not really letting me. It's not really letting me. It's like, I'm thinking that you're going to be given the opportunity to clear the air of past energy. And somebody, one or the other of you, is going to see if this can be pushed into a reconciliation attempt. And there's a lot of uncertainty. I think you're very uncertain about this. I think so. Looks like we got some codependency energy in here. So maybe somebody from the past is coming back just because they're lonely. And you're like, I don't know about all that. I don't know about that. King and Queen of Swords. The majority of you have already separated yourselves emotionally from this. Not all of you. But even if you haven't, I see a strong concerted effort to try to separate yourself from it emotionally and move forward. You've made the decision to move on from this and you're trying to stick to it. But this person may try to emotionally manipulate you. Okay. Well, can't really steer around that. Let's see their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions. me grab a super chat real quick. Mr. Pops, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. What's this person's truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions? Let's see. Ooh. Well, this person definitely has service to self intentions. Definitely. Hang on. Let's see what else wants to come through. Ooh, 3 of Swords. Yeah. Yup. So first of all, I don't like whatever it was that happened here. I can't really steer around it, man. There's so much past energy here. So much of it. I'm going to have to go with it. I'm going to have to run with this story because there's just too much coming through. Whoever this was, I don't think, I think a lot of you were probably left for someone else, maybe. Either that or they just thought it would be really easy to replace you. And it turned out not to be the case. You know? So now this person's very lonely and they just want to bring somebody into their life and they're not having a very successful job. They're not having a lot of success doing that. So King of Wands reversed, Devil card. I think they're mainly looking for a sex connection. I don't think they're actually trying to find a new start in love, but we all know that there are some people out there who will get into a relationship they don't want to be in just to have access to a sex connection. Believe it or not, there are a lot more pathetic ass people out there than you know. A lot more. A lot more, dude. A lot more. So this person's probably gonna throw their biggest, best Emmy Award winning pity party at you. You know? And I would imagine that that's probably worked on you before. No offense to this, but fire signs typically are pretty easy to play with when it comes to stuff like that. You know? If you have an emotion, and it's usually water signs that get you. Oh, I see it all the time. Especially with Aries, it's them damn Cancers that get you every fucking time. Because they know how big your heart is and they know how to play with it. How many, I bet there's a bunch of you in here that fucked with a Cancer, right? That's the number one. Number one, they know how to get you. Between Cancer and the next one down will be Pisces. You know, Scorpio's kind of a different, I don't know, that's a different breed of water sign. But anyway, I don't want to get too specific, but for some reason, I think this person's pretty confident that if they throw a convincing enough pity party at you, they're just going to work. Maybe it happened in the past, maybe not, I don't know. But I wouldn't say that their intentions are solid. When you get the King of Wands reversed with the Devil card, I wouldn't say, yeah, I don't trust them. I do not. So, should we look at an outcome or should we get advice here? I think in that first spread, the Two of Swords kind of splits it down the middle, 50-50. So let's just get the advice. What's the advice for Aries singles? Chariot. Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay. So I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a past lover, a family member you fell out with, a friend that you fell out with. If you're going to bring anyone that you fell out with back into your life, What's the most important contributing factor? Whether or not there has been a change, right? That's the most important contributing factor as to whether or not you should bring someone back into your life. Now, how do you know if somebody has made a genuine change? You don't want to just listen to what they tell you. Of course, they're going to lead with their best foot forward and put on this big Emmy award-winning performance in front of you. Of course. What you want to do is you want to study every other area of their life. I'm going to tell you what. First of all, go into it knowing this. Most people never change. Once they reach a certain age in adulthood, it's usually somewhere in their mid to late 20s, they stay there their whole life. Their whole life. When somebody changes, I mean, they change as a person. Their whole life changes. Everything changes. Everything. And this goes back to frequency equalization. That's a universal law. When you change as a person, you change vibrationally. When you change vibrationally, anything, anyone, any situation, any scenario, any job, any part of the grid that no longer resonates with your frequency will be pulled away from you, or you will be pulled away from it. That is an immutable universal law. That's not Rich Lopp's little theory. That's not something that just happens to some people sometimes. That's an immutable universal law, period. There's no way around it. There's no exception to it. There's no way to manipulate it. When somebody changes, their whole life changes. Their whole life. Everything about who they are and what they're doing in life changes. So yes, while they may be able to put on this big, beautiful performance in front of you, step back and watch every other area of their life. You mean to tell me that everything else in your life is the same except for the way you act towards me? Really? Really? You're still sitting in the same spot, spinning in the same circles, fucking with the same people, doing the same shit. Nothing else has changed. Nothing. Everything else is exactly the same except for the way you act towards me. Bullshit. Bullshit. They haven't changed. Promise you they have not. When somebody changes, everyone has to get to know them all over again. Everyone. Everyone. Yo mama gonna have to get to know you all over again when you change as a person. Your best friends gonna have to get to know you all over again. So just take it slow and study their whole fucking life before you decide whether or not you want to bring someone back into your life. Because I'm going to tell you what, if everything else in their life is still the same except for the way they act towards you, it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Most of the time, I would say about 60% of the time, it's within the first month. 75 to 80% of the time, in the first 2 months. But psychology says that a person can't wear a mask, metaphorically speaking, for longer than 90 days. So if you are consistently around someone, hanging with them, spending time with them, talking to them, especially if you fucking them daily. Now, if you're only around somebody for maybe once a week, then it's easier to put on a front for a longer period of time. But when you're around someone like daily, 90 days, within 90 days, their true colors are going to start to bubble up to the surface. It's going to go right back to where it was. Y'all going to pick up right where you left off. So be careful with that and just study and watch and observe, okay? All right, well, I feel like those were the messages that my Aries friends needed to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, information for personal readings is all down here in the description, all right? I'm out of here, y'all. I'll see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity. Stay blessed.